So let's build where we've been. This will be our last session for tonight. We started obviously in Hebrews 3 and 4. I like these PowerPoints so much, I just keep using them. So Hebrews 3 and 4. I just wanted to point to you that we're after the time of Christ. Everybody knows that, but we're going to be hopping over that Christ figure on the timeline and jumping back. When we got to Hebrews 3 and 4, first part of our class took us back to Hebrews 4:4, you can go there, took us back, remember, all the way to Genesis. And it said that the rest that's available to believers today is somehow tied in. Its characteristics are the same as the rest that God experienced back here in Genesis chapter 2, the seventh day of creation, right? So Hebrews is referring us back to this to describe the type of rest. It's also sending us back to Psalm 95. That's Hebrews 3:7, okay? So the author is also building his argument by taking us back to Psalm 95. But when we get to Psalm 95, what do we realize that it's really talking about? Is where we went tonight. We realize that Psalm 95, verse 8, is taking us back to an event that happened in Exodus 17, right? Meribah and Massah. Yes? Okay, good. I just want to make sure. When you turn on a PowerPoint, people start falling asleep. But I also suggested to you that this wasn't the only Meribah, right? We also went to Numbers chapter 20, which may be confusing, but on a timeline, Numbers 20, Exodus 17 happened shortly after coming through the Red Sea. Numbers 20 happens nearly 40 years later, right before they're poised to go into the Promised Land. But we saw that there were some similarities between these two events in Exodus 17 and Numbers 20, the two places called Meribah. What were those similarities? Well, in both instances, Moses used a staff to hit a rock and water poured forth from the rock. What other things were going along that are similar in the two? There was some grumbling and complaining going on by the people, right? There were people that God wasn't very happy with in both cases, right? We're going to take a closer look at this in this next lesson that we have. And what I want to end with tonight is just this idea that when the author of Hebrews is constructing his instructions to believers, New Testament believers, about what is available, what will bring you to your completion, and this idea of rest. What is it that completes you, that fulfills you as a person, the way you were meant to be fulfilled? The answer somewhere, somehow, is found in Old Testament shadows. And it's when we go back to these water in the rock events that I think that's going to start unpacking. Hebrews is also famous for their warnings, and I had you try and notice some of those warnings. I just want to point some out. Why is this important? Well, take care, brethren, that there not be any one among of you that there not be in any one of you an evil, unbelieving heart that falls away from the living God. Take care, be careful. The author is saying what I'm talking about here, there's some danger, right? Now, I'm not going to speak exactly to what danger, because everybody's got a different opinion, but there's some danger. Chapter 3, verse 19. These people were not to enter rest, or not able to enter rest because of unbelief. Okay? New Testament author saying that's possible for some of you. We'll take a look at that in more detail as we go. Hebrews 4:1, there's another one. Believers can come short of entering rest through disobedience. What type of disobedience? Meribah and Massah disobedience. So we really got to unpack that, because I don't want to do that, whatever that is, right? So that's a good warning. And Hebrews 4:11, let us be diligent. Let New Testament believers be diligent to enter the rest that's available so that no one will fall through. How do we do that? Through following the same example of disobedience. So you feel like we're kind of down a rabbit hole? You should, I should also let you know we're going a little deeper. So we're just going to continue going down that rabbit hole. In this next lesson, we go a little bit further into Old Testament stories, and we consider a larger context that those Meribah stories are in. And it's in that context, I believe, that we will find some real boots on the ground, practical steps in how to enter rest that the author of Hebrews wanted us to know. So I don't know if you can feel it. We're getting close. We're getting close to putting some pieces together. And we got a lot of pieces on the table. And just like in a jigsaw puzzle, you get the outside done. You find the corners first, right? Get the outside done, and then you start working on it. And all of a sudden, things start rolling. And that's when more people start coming around the table, right? And they want to take credit for doing the puzzle. But you're the one that's been there since corner number one, and that's not going to happen, right? We're getting close to putting all the pieces together in this puzzle of Sabbath rest. There is a rest that remains for us after the shadows have been taken away, and it is a rest that will complete you as a person that has faith in God, as we follow Jesus. And other people are going to want to come around the table, and it's going to be fun.